From our Center of the Arts studio, welcome to the AUTV Candidate Spotlight. I'm your host, Mackenzie Pflum, and tonight on set, I have the pleasure of welcoming the Republican candidate for the Ohio State House, Melanie Miller. Melanie, thank you so much for being here and joining me today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm so happy to be here.
So just in general, how are you feeling? What emotions are you going through right now?
Yes.
It's right around the corner.
Yes, it really is. Soon we will find out who will be our official state representative for the new 67th district. I will tell you, I am very excited. I'm also a little nervous, but I'm so thankful that this moment is finally here because this has been a very long and unusual election cycle for Ohio with having two primaries this year. And our state representative race was moved twice. So we're so thankful that this moment is finally here and soon we will find out the final results.
So this is the first time that you're running for a political seat. Where did that kind of passion and desire to run for something like this come from? Because you've never done it before.
That's right, that's right. Well, I will tell you, I remember when I was 16 years old, I'm originally from Brook Park, Ohio, and when I won Miss Brook Park was an ambassador to the city. And as Miss Brook Park, when I was 16 years old, I worked alongside our mayor. So I went everywhere with him. I did a lot of community service. And I think that's where my heart and my love for people and giving back to the community and public service really began at around 16 years of age. And then, of course, I'm married to the mayor of the city of Ashland, Mayor Matt Miller, and I've helped him on many of his campaigns, whether it was for Congress or for city council or for mayor. And so I've been on the backside helping him run a campaign and door knocking and coordinating volunteers. And I'll be honest, I love it. I absolutely love it. Matt and I are both, external. We love people. We love to be with crowds of people. That's kind of what energizes Matt and I. And truly, when this seat became open, every 10 years, Ohio does redistricting with the maps based on the census. Ashland County and the portion of Medina became a brand new seat. It was open. And so I really began thinking about it that, I think I could do this. I think I could do a good job at being our representative. And maybe 7 years prior to this moment, I've had a lot of opportunities as a former Miss Ohio, Mrs. Ohio, to go and speak at the State House, but then also with the work I do at the Pregnancy Care Center here in Ashland County, I've had the privilege to speak, give proponent testimony for legislation that would protect our unborn. And so I think maybe the Lord has been planting those seeds along the way for me, and here was this opportunity to do that. And I'll be honest with you, Mackenzie, I was hoping that many people would talk me out of it, but as I felt, I'm a woman of faith, I pray about everything, and when this burden or this desire was not going away, I started reaching out to other trusted people to give me wisdom and advice, and nobody's discouraged me. They in fact said, Melanie, you're exactly the type of person we need to be our representative with your values. And so I went for it, and I'm very grateful for the support of the people of the 67th district this far.
It's an awesome story. And you mentioned Miss Ohio and Mrs. Ohio just now. So kind of with that experience, and not to mention you graduated from Cleveland State with essentially a broadcast journalism degree.
That's right. That's right.
How have those experiences kind of helped you along this journey?
Oh, I think all of these life experiences have prepared me for this moment. Absolutely everything. I love being in the studio and seeing all the students in here because I feel like I'm back in my home. I remember doing this in college and doing it in the Cleveland market for a while. But truly, as Miss Ohio and Mrs. Ohio, I traveled the state and was speaking to groups, students, adults, people of all ages. So I really feel that really prepared me with public speaking and just truly being able to learn about the things and the cares of people in Ohio, the struggles people deal with, the things that they enjoy, how they want to be successful. I think all of those unique experiences have prepared me for this very moment. And honestly, I'm using everything I've learned in the past for now.
Absolutely. And then looking at your campaign, what are your core values and platforms that you're running on?
Absolutely. Well, I like to kind of narrow it down to about 5. And on my website, MelanieMillerForOhio.com, I have a list of my guiding principles that I'd like to focus on. And I think that will really help me as I serve as hopefully the future state representative for this area these guiding principles will guide my vote in the State House. So number one, life is essential. So if you look at my website, I would say I am pro-life, especially with the work that I do at the Pregnancy Care Center. I believe every life begins at conception. So first and foremost, I'll be an advocate to protect those values. Pro-freedom, protecting our Second Amendment rights, the right to the freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, their freedom of religion, medical freedom, all of these things. I think every day we need to continue to fight for those freedoms. Freedom is not given by the government. I feel like our freedoms are God-given, and so we need people that will protect those God-given freedoms that we have. Education's another big one. That's something that's on the hearts of the men and women in this district in a major way. So pro-education, children, young people, we need the resources in order to be successful in life. So school funding, but also what's being taught in our schools is really on the hearts and minds of our people to make sure, we don't have time to get into all that today about education, but also I am also pro-business. The agriculture and small businesses are the backbone of our local economy, so we need to do what we can do to make business more friendly for those individuals in the state of Ohio. And then finally, family. We've got to make sure that families that are working hard, more money remains in their pockets so that they can live a better quality of life in this state. So those would be truly my 5 guiding principles as your next state representative.
And I wanted to touch on abortion a little bit because this summer it was a huge topic of debate with the overturn of Roe versus Wade.
That's right.
With it being such a hot topic and a lot of people, very strong on both sides, you're pro-life.
Yes.
Why is that something that is so important to you that you want to stand strong and hold on your beliefs?
Yeah, that's a great question, and you're absolutely right. People are passionate on both sides of this issue. Well, going back to the very beginning, when we look at our founding fathers, it says right at the beginning that we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, then liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Life. Life is an unalienable right that's God-given, and I believe life begins at conception, and it should be protected. With the work I do at Ashland Pregnancy Care Center as the executive director, we see women and men when they're in a pregnancy situation and it's unexpected. People need to be able to go to places where they're going to get accurate information, and that's what we do at the Pregnancy Care Center. A lot of men and women choose abortion as an option because of financial reasons. Maybe they don't have the support of a loved one or pressure from somebody. And so I feel like my duty with the work that I'm doing, the men and women I'm seeing day in and day out, we need to be a champion for life. And I feel like one of the lies that we hear in our society is that, people who are pro-life, all they care about is the baby. What about the woman? And really, that is a lie. Pro-lifers do love women. We love them both. And in fact, I find in my ministry at Ashland Pregnancy Care Center, our focus is the woman. Yes, we love the baby, and we want her to see that this life is a gift from the Lord, not a burden. But we have to love her first. We need to meet her needs. She needs to know that she's loved and she's valued and she is worthy, and that she's going to have support along this way. And if we can love her and help her see her worth and value, then she is going to have she's going to have the courage to choose life for her child, and then we can work through those dots. But so pro-life, I am very passionate about that because I do believe that's one of the callings on my life, especially with my work's mission.
And lastly, I just want to know, if you had to tell people one thing about Melanie Miller, what would you want them to know?
Oh, that is a great question. The first thing that comes to mind is I remember when I was in 6th grade and then in the 10th grade, there was a quote that I remember that has really been in the forefront for me. In 6th grade, our teacher had in the classroom a quote that said, "Never settle for less than your best." And I saw that again in 10th grade. And then as I became a believer, for me, I'm a strong woman of faith. My faith is what drives me. I've begun to change that to not just settle for less than Melanie's best, but never settle for less than God's best. And if you do that in your life, I pray that no one would have a life of regret, and to dream big, because anything's possible. Anything is possible in life. And I've tried to live my life by those 2 mottos. In fact, Ohio, We're one of the only states that has God in our state motto. With God, all things are possible is the state of Ohio's motto. And I believe that's one of my life mottos, that with Him, if you walk alongside the Lord, if you stay rooted in Him, you can do anything that you put your mind to. So I just want to encourage our young people to do that. The sky is the limit.
Well, I love all of that so much. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us, and good luck tonight.
Welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. Now back to the news desk for more of the election 2022 coverage.